Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. In this video, I will guide about how to manage various configurations in MS Teams. Even though there are a lot of different policies in Teams that you can configure as per your organization's requirements. However, the aim of this video is to walk you through on how to get going with Teams settings, Teams policies, Teams templates, and Teams upgrade settings. Okay? So during the course of this video, I will go through each of these configurations so you have a better understanding about each of them and how to make best use of them to keep your organizations secure and remain compliant. Alright, so without wasting any more time, let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is Manage Teams, which is the first option under Teams in the left navigation bar. So in here, you can create a new team or manage permissions of existing teams. Generally, end users can create teams themselves from within the Teams application, but there can be organizations where end users are prohibited from creating teams. Let me know in the comments if in case you'd like to learn how to restrict users from creating teams. Okay, so I'll go ahead and create a new team now by clicking on Add. Let me call it VP Office. The description box is optional, so you can leave it as it is. And here in the team owner, you can add the owner name of the team. Let's say I want to make Matt as the owner of this team. You can define the sensitivity label of this team if there's a need. I have already created a separate video on how to create and manage sensitivity labels, and I will leave the link for the same in the description box. Alright, so let me just choose none, and here in the privacy you can decide whether it's going to be public or private. So if you choose to set as private, that means only owners can add, remove members from this team. Okay, let me click apply now. Okay, so this team has been created. Now I can create any new channels in here. By default, a general channel has been created. So if I have a need to create a new one, I can simply click add, then enter the name and decide on the type and click apply. Alright, now I'll click settings. So in here, you can define what all settings you would like to allow or disallow. So for example, you can toggle this to off, and that means the sent messages won't be edited. Similarly, sent messages won't be deleted, and so on. So here's a complete list of configurations that you can make. Alright, so let's move on to the second option, which is team settings. So now I'm under team settings, as we can see in the left navigation bar, the second option. So the first thing is notification and feeds. So if this option is turned on, then users can see the activity feeds in their Teams application. So as you can see, this option is currently turned on. So let me open the Teams for this user. Alright, so now I'm logged into Microsoft Teams application. And as we can see, under the activity application, I have some feeds. Okay, so if I toggle that option to off, then users will no longer receive feeds in their Teams application. Okay, so the next option is about tagging. So tags lets you quickly connect with a subset of people in your team based on specific attributes or roles. So as we can see, we can define who can manage tags, whether it's going to be owners or members or not enabled. Okay. So the default option is owners and members, but you can also decide within the Teams application that members should be allowed or not. So you can also define whether custom tags are allowed or not by toggling this switch to off or on. Okay, so this is how you can configure or control tags configuration. Now let me jump into the Teams application and show you how exactly tags work. So I'm currently going to manage tags for this team called CIO by clicking on ellipsis, and then I'll click on Manage Team. Here on the far right side, we have an option called Tags. As you can see, currently there is no tag created for this team. I'll click Create Tag. So let's say I want to mention team members by this tag, and here I can define who all team members are going to be addressed when I'll mention this tag in the chat. So Ashton, Samuel, create. Okay, so this tag has been created. Let me now go to General and click on Start a New Conversation. I'll put team here. Alright, so now this tag will pop up for both Ashton and Samuel's teams. So this is how you can create and manage tags in Teams. Okay, if I click on this ellipsis icon again and go back to Manage Teams, I'll click on Settings now. So here also, as you can see, an owner has the ability to control who can create and manage teams. So it's currently set to team owners and members, but if an owner wants, they can select this option as team owners, which means only owners can manage tags for this particular team. Alright, so let me go back to Teams Admin Center. Okay, so the next option we have is email integration. So by default, anyone in the organization can send emails to the channel email address. But if you would like to allow only certain domains to be able to send emails, then you can define the list of domains here. Okay, so I'll show you how exactly you can find out the email address of channel. Let me go back to Teams client. So suppose I would like to get the email address of general channel under CIO team. I can click on the ellipsis icon and then click Get Email Address. So here, this is the email address as you can see on the screen. Keep in mind that this email address cannot be changed as of now. So Microsoft may roll out this functionality in the near future, but as of now, you cannot change. Okay, so anyone who wants to send email to this particular channel can write to this email address. Okay, I'll just click Close. Now moving on to files. So with the help of files, we can import any file or folder from any of these cloud storage provider to the Teams. So this is the complete list of storage provider that Microsoft supports as of now. So let me go back to Teams client and show you how exactly you can bring files to Teams. So I can click on the channel under which I would like to import files. I can simply click on Files, and then I have to click on ellipsis icon, and as you can see, we have an option called Add Cloud Storage. Now I can decide which cloud provider I would like to use. Let's say I have files on Google Drive. I would then click on Google Drive, and then it's going to prompt me for credentials, but since I've already entered the credentials, it did not prompt me again. So here, ideally, it would show me all the files and folders that I would like to import in Teams, but since I do not have any files or folders on my Google Drive, it's just not showing me anything. Okay, let me go back. Similarly, if I would have my files and folders in my Box account that I would like to import into Teams, I can simply click on Box, and then it's going to prompt me for my Box credentials, as you can see on the box. So once I'm done entering my credentials, it's going to list down all the files and folders that I have stored on my Box account. So under organizations, as you can see, this is currently turned on. This means users can see the organization hierarchy in their Teams client. Okay. Now under devices, we have got quite a few options that we can configure And all of these configurations is for the resource accounts behavior when they attend Teams meeting from Surface Hub devices. Since I do not have any Surface Hub device, I won't be able to demonstrate this feature. Okay, moving on to the next option, which is search by name. So if you have any address book policies in Exchange Online, then Teams will honor those policies, and accordingly, users may or may not be able to search other users. Okay, so this completely relies on the address book policies on Exchange Online. Now let me talk about safety and communication. So this feature is useful for situations where Teams is used in colleges or universities, as this option can prevent students from initiating a chat with each other. So students can only initiate a chat with teachers or educators. For this feature to work correctly, you will have to enable chat permissions role in the messaging policies that I'll show you. Let me click on messaging policies. Let me open global one. So as you can see down at the bottom, the second last option is chat permissions roles. So we have got three different permissions: full permissions, limited, and restricted. Okay, so if I talk about full permission, so this role is for teachers who have full permission and can initiate a chat with anyone in the organization. So if I talk about limited, this role is for staff members who should supervise students, and users in this role can start a chat with either full permission users or limited permission users. Okay. So anyone with the full permission can bring in limited permission role holder into the existing chat. Now if I talk about the restricted permissions, this is ideal for students as they can initiate a chat with those users who have full permissions. So as I said earlier, only teachers and educators should have full permissions. That means students can initiate a chat with only teachers or educators. All right, so let me go back. So if I show you one of the policies, which is student only, let me open it. If I scroll down, you can see it's currently set to restricted permissions. Let me click cancel now. I would now like to show you what all users I have got with this particular policy. So as you can see, I have an option to click view users. So Sandy and Daniel, this means these two users cannot initiate a chat with each other. Let me try to initiate a chat from the Daniel's account. I'm now logged into Teams as Daniel, as we can see. Now let me try to send a message to Sandy and see if that goes through fine. Okay, so as you can see, I just got an error that you do not have permissions to create a chat with one or more of people you selected. So this confirms that the configuration we made is working perfectly as it should. So now I'll talk about Teams policies, which is the third option in the left navigation bar under Teams. So let me open the global policy. So as you can see, global policy is defined in a way that every user is allowed to create private channels. They can create shared channels, and then they can also invite external users to shared channels, and the last option is join external shared channels. If we have a specific need to restrict users' ability from creating a private channel or shared channel, you can do so by creating a new policy, because if you make changes to the global one, then it's going to impact all the users in your organization. So I've already got a new custom policy which is to restrict private channel creation, and as we can see, this first option is toggled off. Let me cancel it. Now if I show you users, we can see the custom policy is assigned to Sandy. So now let me log into Teams with Sandy and see if he can create a private channel in Teams. I am now logged into Teams as Sandy, and now I'll try to create a new private channel and see if this user can create. So I'll click on this ellipsis icon and then I'll choose Manage Teams. I'll then select Channel. Now I'll click on Add Channel. So in the privacy, you can see that this user does not have the option to choose private. Alright, so let me click Cancel. Now let me try to create channel for another team called Floor. Let me click Add Channel. And as you can see again, this user does not have the capability to select private. Alright, so this confirms that the Teams policy is working fine for this user. So the next option is Team Templates. Okay, so Team Templates is a great way to let users have all the channels and required applications upon creating a new team. So if I open any of the template, you can see that if a user creates a new team by selecting this template, then they will have all of these channels created by default, and they can also get all the apps along with the new team creation. And since you cannot really assign templates directly to users, you have to define template policies for the same. So as you can see, I've got two custom policies created. One of them is help desk template and the other one is Office 365 adoption. So if I click on this Office 365 adoption, then you can see user is going to get adopt Office 365 template. So let me go ahead and try to create a new team. But before that, let me see who all users have got this template policy assigned. I'm currently seeing the profile of user Ashton, and if I scroll down, you can see this user has got the template policy assigned. So let me log into Teams as Ashton and then try to create a new team. I am currently logged in as user Ashton. So now I'll try to create a new team. Let me hit create team. So now as we can see, this user is able to see this template. So this template will include 5 channels and 4 applications. Let me hit next. This is going to be a private team. Alright, so let me give it a name. Alright, I'll now click create. Okay, so this may take a few minutes. So let me just hit close. So I'm just going to pause this video for now, and once it's done creating all the channels, I'll then resume. All the other channels have been created, as we can see in the list, and they all are hidden. So the applications have also been created along with the channels. So as you can see, this bulletin application is now part of announcements channel. So this confirms that template policies is working as they should. Alright, so moving on. Alright, so now I'll talk about Teams update policies. So before I get into it, you basically need to understand 2 terms. One of them is public preview and the other one is public release. So public preview for Microsoft Teams provides early access to unreleased features, and it also allows you to explore and test upcoming features. Okay. On the other hand, if a feature is released broadly by Microsoft, then we call it public release. Okay. Now let me open this policy. So right now this is set as enabled. Okay. If you set this policy as enabled, then this option is going to enable Teams public preview regardless of whether a user is enrolled or not in Office current channel. Okay, I'll show you in a bit on how you can view the Office current channel configuration. Alright, now if this is set to follow Office preview, then it will automatically enable Teams public preview features for any user who is enrolled into Office current channel. If you set as not enabled, then this option will not enable any new features to end users. So this policy is set as enable for the global policy. That means anyone in the organization can switch their Teams application to view public preview features. So let me switch to Teams application so I can walk you through on how you can switch your Teams application to access public preview. So here at the top right side, we have to click on ellipsis icon, and then we have to click about. Now you can see there's an option called public preview. Once I select this, Teams will restart and then it will run in the public preview mode. Okay. Alright, now let me take you to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center so I can walk you through on how you can view the current configuration. So under the organization profile, you have to click on release preference, and then you have to click on Office installation option. So here we can see that it is currently set as current channel. So this is where you can define whether users are going to be on current channel or monthly enterprise channel or semi-annual channel. Okay. Alright, let's move on to the next option, which is Teams upgrade settings. So in here you can see we can configure coexistence mode. Okay. Currently it is set to island. This means user can use both Skype as well as Teams client in your organization, and user also must ensure that they are logged into both Skype and Teams client, because chats and calls can land on either client. Okay. If I click on the drop down, you can see we have few more options to choose from. If I select Skype for Business only, this means calling and chatting functionality is available in Skype along with the ability to schedule meetings. Okay. If I choose the next option, which is Skype for Business with Teams collaboration, this means user can manage calling, chats and schedule meetings in Skype, but they will have to use Teams for collaboration in channels. Okay. The next option is Skype for Business with Teams collaboration and meeting. So in this mode, user can manage calling and chats in Skype, and the rest of the functions will work in Teams client. If I select Teams only, that means all the functions, whether it's chatting, calling, scheduling a meeting and so on, will work in Teams only. So the ultimate goal of every organization should be Teams only. Okay. Alright, so let's say if you are running in Skype for Business only mode, in that case it's recommended that you toggle this option on so that users will get a notification that Teams upgrade is available. Okay. So since I'm running in island mode, I do not have a need to toggle this on. So the next option is app preference for Skype meetings, and you can define which application users should use to join Skype meetings. Okay. And the last option is download the Teams app in background for Skype for Business users. So if in case there are users who are still running Skype, then they can download Teams app on their machines when this option is toggled on. Alright, so that's all about the Teams settings and configurations. I will create another video so I can discuss the rest of configurations. That's all I wanted to discuss in this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you like the content. Thank you for the support, and bye for now.